or maybe it's welcome too, but this is the Louie Bellina Show. Lunchtime, thanks to Rudy's Barbecue. This is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Now, Thursdays, lunchtime, we get to hang out with Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman. Cedric, how's your world, brother?
Man, I'm great. What's up, Lou?
You know, life on the bubble is a miserable existence. Not all bubbles are created equal. Sometimes, you know, you're picked number 3 in the conference preseason and you're supposed to be in the Elite 8 or Final 4, and bubble is miserable. Buckyball, you're picked 13th in the preseason, and life on the bubble is supposed to be just epic and glorious how close you are, but I don't care. Life on the bubble is miserable, brother.
Yeah, the bubble is unkind, and, you know, Texas is still a little bit on the bubble as well. I think they're both ranked, Texas and A&M, and Ken Palm. I think Texas is 33 and A&M's like 34, 35. They're close, but A&M's got 10 conference wins, so that's got to play well with Ken Palm and with the NCAA selection committee. But getting that last win was big. That was a big one for the Aggies.
It was. Actually, as of this morning, Joe Lenardi bracketology, right? Last 4 byes, A&M is the second team. Texas is now the third team. After Texas beat A&M Saturday, they had flip-flop spots. But now, as of this morning, A&M is the 2 team on last 4 byes, and now the Longhorns are the 3 team on the last 4 byes.
Yeah, that's because Texas didn't show up in Fayetteville. They got run out of Arkansas, and easily one of their worst games of the year, just got punked in every category. Their senior point guard, Jordan Pope, 3 fouls in 4 minutes of action. And, you know, he killed the Aggies, but he was a no-show in Fayetteville. And so Sean Miller, his team, this is a gut check coming up. They get Oklahoma at home on Saturday, and if they win that one, they're in for sure. But if they lose, who knows? You never want to leave it up to the selection committee, Lou.
So hold on. If I heard you correctly, it's not just an Aggie thing, because you could talk to any Aggie and say NCAA committee, and the sport is not relevant, and you'll see fear, you'll see sweat start to form, you'll just see pure terror. So you're saying it's a Longhorn thing too. Fear the committee.
Absolutely, because they have to. They can't have another toe stub like they just had. I think they're in. I think if OU comes in and beats Texas, Texas still has a chance to get in. They may have to go back to Dayton, Ohio, and play in that first 4 in type situation. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be that squad. You want to earn your way in. You want that bye. You want to play. And go to a regional where you're well rested. So I think that they're going to take care of business, but they really put a horrible feeling in the pits of the stomachs of their fan base with that horrific showing in Arkansas. They were, Lou, I don't know if you saw any of it, Texas, they were not a factor from the opening tap. They were horrible, and you know, we know they're not very good on defense, but they're the 7th most efficient offense in America. That was nowhere to be found, and they ran into an Arkansas team that was on its best stuff. But this is an Arkansas team that had just lost 111-77 to Florida, so it's not like they were killing people before. And you know, Florida might be my pick to win it all, so I'm not casting aspersions there. But the Longhorns got to pick it up, and they need to pick it up on Saturday.
You would think that they're favored easily to win on Saturday, but does the Longhorn-OU rivalry extend to other sports other than football would be my question.
I say no. It just, there's no comparison. I don't see that same hatred. I think if the Longhorns and Aggies are playing tiddlywinks, that's a rivalry, no matter what the sport is. But in Texas OU, when I think of Texas OU, that's more of a football thing for me. For someone who's been living here for a quarter of a century. But I don't know that the rivalry is that huge in hoops. I just think that they need to figure it out. And OU's won 3 in a row. They're 16-14, and they're trying to they're trying to get into that play-in situation. They're trying to sneak in there, so they're on a little bit of a heater. We'll see what happens. Texas got to answer the bell.
Your prediction, though, sounds pretty easy because it's not a prediction. But you think they're in. I mean, you say if they win Saturday, they're in. If they don't win Saturday, they're probably in that situation where they have to go to the SEC tournament, and you probably need 2 wins there because the neutral site kind of affects the impact of each win.
Absolutely, and they were 6-12 in conference last year, and they still got in, Lou. So to finish 9-9 is 3 games better. Even though I think we'll agree that the SEC is not as formidable as it was last season, but still to improve to 9-9 and what's still a really good conference should be enough to get them in.
Well, yeah, the difference between last year and this year, last year the SEC had the high end, so the overall conference strength was better. They're still going to actually lead the country in the number of teams that get in because it'll be probably 10, and maybe the Big Ten will have 10 or 9. So they'll still have the most, but you don't have the top 10 teams like you did last year. So the overall strength will be down a bit.
Exactly. Teams like Tennessee is a little bit down this year, and there are teams that were a lot more dominant that aren't so much this year. But I'm telling you, it's still a rough and tumble league, Lou. Fun basketball to watch. The games are always entertaining, and I'm looking forward. I'm not going to the SEC tournament, so I'm kind of looking forward to kicking back and watching some hoops next week. From where are they playing it? Is it Nashville? I think it's Nashville, right?
I always assume it is. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
A, I hate conference tournaments, so I don't look too hard. B, if it's basketball, I always assume they go to Nashville.
Yes, Nashville. The ladies are in Greenville, South Carolina. So yeah, it's going to be in Nashville. And I think the ladies have already started. So.
Yep.
I think
A&M on a 5-game win streak got eliminated in the first round.
You know what? And good for Joni Taylor to get them back on track near the end of the season. Maybe that bodes well for next year. I know it's been a rough 2 years for her program, but it was good to see them make a little bit of noise at the end of the season.
I don't know. It means they got to play in the NIT now, and oh boy, that just NIT for women's basketball. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, I'm not a big fan of the men, so
either NIT.
Yeah. I covered Texas winning the NIT under Shaka Smart. Let me tell you, there wasn't much more of a depressing atmosphere than a half-empty gym, and they're playing basketball that nobody cares about. And kudos to Shaka for not making it such a big deal when they won it. He knew that season was a failure because they didn't make the NCAAs.
Yeah. Okay. So you and I are of the same mindset on that. Fair enough.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, 979-693-1150, 979-693-1150. You can light up the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. Texas Mobile One Lube Express, owned by Gabriel Garcia. You can text message questions for me, but why waste your time? Cedric's here. Text questions for Cedric. 979-693-1150. Let's go to the Aggie. Let's go to the Longhorn Baseball universe. They're perfect 12-0, and like everybody else, 4 games remain until you start SEC play. USC Upstate, which I just thought USC was in California. I didn't know there was an upstate for them. And then Texas State in the midweek. Here's the question I ponder. It's not a Longhorn thing. A&M has suffered this too. But do you think their schedules got them prepared for Ole Miss, for SEC play? Is it just about getting games in? Is it just about getting W's? Like, it hasn't been the most challenging. And I know old Longhorn schedules, I used to admire them because they used to at least have one weekend. Sometimes they'd go play on the road where you at least had that litmus test.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know back when I was covering Texas baseball, they would always have at least 1 or 2 really tough non-conference series. Augie Garrido liked to schedule Stanford because Stanford was kind of a gauge of what his team needed to work on in non-conference to get ready for Big 12 for the Big 12 schedule. When you look at who they played so far, it's not exactly a murderer's row. UC Davis sweep, of course. Lamar beat them by 10. Michigan State sweep. Coastal Carolina was the national runner-up last season. They beat them 8-1. So, and then Baylor is well thought of with Baylor 5-2, and then they pounded Ohio State. I just think they're a really good team. They have really good pitching. They have depth that they didn't have last year in the starting pitching roles. They brought in two really outstanding all-conference, all-America types in Aiden Robbins from Seton Hall, who was an All-American last year, and then the catcher, Carson Tenney from Notre Dame, is hitting home runs. I just think they're a really sound ball club. They played some pretty good teams. Like I mentioned, the national runner-up, and I love that they get Ole Miss right out of the box. I think that's going to be a nice test at home on Friday. And Schloss loves to challenge his guys. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. There's tough love in that clubhouse, and right now they've answered the bell. You got to remember they started 19-2 last season, so. And then they ran into lost their starting Friday night guy, and then ran into a wall in the regional. But I think this team overall is deeper than last year's team. I'm not saying they're going to start 19-0, but 12-0 is a good start.
No. Hey, again, perfection is hard to beat. Lou always says deep things like that. Perfection is hard to beat. You can quote me on that even. It just, again, I see certain schedules, and I know Coastal Carolina is the runner-up, if I'm not mistaken. They're a little rough start to the year for them. Baylor, I don't know if they're an NCAA tournament team, and I know every coach has their overall philosophy and builds towards it. I see some coaches that don't care. They know they need dubs because the NCAA tournament might be a challenge for them, and I'm always fascinated by it. I'm always fascinated by coaches and what they think they need to make their systems work.
And the one thing that I'll mention, Lou, is they haven't played a true road game yet. I mean, the Houston tournament, that's neutral site for everybody, but they haven't played a true road game yet. And so they get Ole Miss at the house, and then after that we'll find out, because they haven't gone to what we would call hostile environment, and that's kind of the norm for a lot of these big programs. They front load a lot of home games and get comfortable, but after that, they're playing at Auburn, a 3-game set at Auburn, and that's never an easy place. And then they go to Houston for a Tuesday night game, and then OU. So that is a long stretch after they play Ole Miss and host Tarleton State. You're looking at 7 games in a row on the road. That's going to be the true test to see if they're as good as they appear to be.
That sounds like the circle the calendar part. Survive that, and you know what you got.
Yeah, exactly. That is going to be the test. So this is a long road swing. I'm just looking, Lou. After they play OU at the end of March, so they go. Listen to this schedule. You're talking about a murderer's row. Okay, at Auburn, 3-game set. At Houston on a Tuesday night, at OU, 3-game set. Then they get Texas State back at home, at South Carolina, 3-game set. So that is like 10 road games out of 11. So that's late March, early April is going to tell us what we need to know about the Longhorns, because if they can make it through that stretch and win a couple of those series, this SEC, you're not going to sweep everybody, but they can get through that tough road stretch and win a couple of those series. They should be in fine shape, because what I just told you just lets you know that the back end of the schedule is going to have a lot of home series in it. So that's going to be their big test, is how they fight, how they battle this gauntlet that they're going to have to run here coming up real soon.
I say this with a smile on my face. In the Big 12, that never would have happened. They would have emailed that back to the league office and said, try again.
Because they ran the Big 12? Is that what you're trying to say, Lou?
I would never say that, Cedric. How could you accuse me of that? You wound me, my friend.
Hey, they got rid of the Longhorn Network. What more do you want, Lou?
Yeah, once they left the league, to be clear.
Exactly.
There were deals made in that story. And there were deals made.
I'm sure that was the first thing that they were told that, yeah, you're a Longhorn Network. You can't bring that over here.
Well,
that's not going to play in the SEC.
I'm sure when the phone call was made, you guys want to join us. You know we have our own network, right? I'm sure that was before they even had them sit down. They're like, we have our own network, right? And Texas went, well, ours isn't working. We're fine with that.
Let me tell you something, Lou. Do you ever watch those SEC stories on ESPN?
Oh,
those
yeah.
are great.
Yeah, I watch a lot of different stuff. Their SEC network's really good.
Their storytelling is top notch. And my wife is not a sports fan, but she's always on the SEC network watching those little mini documentaries because the sports stories are usually the best ones.
Do you have a favorite yet that you've seen?
No, but I like the little skits they do. The guys that I don't even know what it's called, but they pretend to be the schools. And they show those a lot online. God, I don't even know what the name of it is.
The SEC shorts. And A&M always gets beaten to death by Hope.
Yeah, that's the one. And then Vanderbilt has the Vandy Pimp, the pimp from Vanderbilt. That's probably my favorite because they keep me chuckling.
That is pure entertainment. Hey, Cedric, let's grab a quick timeout. Come back, dude. There's always more to talk about. I love me some sports.
Yes, sir.
Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman. Every Thursday, we hang out on the D4 Land Services hotline. If you need your land, need some help with excavation, need some help with land clearing, need some help getting your land fixed up, you probably then need to go check out D4Landservices.com. D4Landservices.com. This is the Louie Bellina Show, Thursday on the Zone.
Visit the Pod Center at zone1150.com and find every hour of every day of your favorite shows. Download or subscribe.
The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, Residential, Commercial, Industrial Services. It's what they do at CC Electric. Free estimates, military and veteran discounts they have at CC Electric. Let us check in, man. Let's hang out some more. Cedric Golden, Austin American-Statesman. Okay, Cedric, I need to know how you're wired, brother. When it comes to college football, are you 12 months a year? Can you put it away? Just kind of wondering how you work.
No, that is a daily thing. There's always a little bit of college football happening, even if there are games going on. I'm 12 months a year football period, college, high school, pro, you name it.
Now, we talking work, we talking fan, because, look, you and I both do it for a living, but something I know that we share is that we love it. Yeah, I mean, we're paid, well, okay, you get paid. I work in radio. We get paid, but kind of. So you know what I mean here. We're professionals and all that stuff, but we're both fans, too.
Yeah, definitely a fan of it. Definitely a fan of it. Grew into it when I moved here because where I grew up, it was mostly about pro football. And when the college games were on, when I was growing up, I was probably outside playing when I was younger. And then, if Fort Campbell was on television, we'd watch Texas then. But kind of grew into that, watched more pro football growing up. But I think that, as a journalist, you have to keep your eyes on it because there's so much going on that is outside the purview of just the field. This is a lot of, you think about it, Lou, the inner workings of NIL, transfer portal, expansion, playoff expansion, those kind of things are always on the front burner. So as the money has gotten bigger, the business of college football has made it to where, as journalists, you got to keep in touch with it. You got to keep your eyes on it because there's always something happening. And it also keeps that fire burning until the season starts. So it just makes it more fun all the way around.
Fair. Very fair. I've been starting to get that kind of vibe. I need me some college football. I'm ready for some college football. I need a game. It's starting, and it's because of all the way too earlys and each team's top players and needs and all. And, when I think Aggies, I think Longhorns. I exist in that universe. I think I'm starting to buy Texas. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not saying this for, rivalry's sake. I think I'm starting to buy Texas because Arch Manning had the breakout over the second half of the season. I think that's undeniable. Cam Coleman was the insurance policy to make sure any gains stay real, because that's how good Cam Coleman is. He can do that for your quarterback. And watching Arch, I think he's the guy that's not scared to throw it at that jersey number, not worrying about the coverage even, let's say. Because you need that kind of symbiotic relationship between quarterback and wide receiver. Some quarterbacks have to see the guy wide open. Some quarterbacks don't know where the guy's going to be. And Cam Coleman just needs a quarterback that trusts in him. I think getting Cam Coleman was buying insurance for Arch.
I think so, too. And you know, he's a Manning, and there's a certain fearlessness that comes with that family. And sometimes you got to live with the results, Lou. There's going to be 2 or 3 times where Arch makes a throw. It happened last year, and you go, Arch, what were you thinking? And, you know, he's trying to fit it in the windows, and he's got that unshakable confidence. And once he got his groove going, and he was miserable in the first 6 games, I'm not saying he played miserably. I'm just saying you could tell by talking to him on Mondays that he was in his feelings. He knew he could play better, and it was killing him. And so once he got going, you could just kind of see a light come on in his head, and then here come the playmakers, and here come the plays he's making, not only with his arm but with his legs, and scoring those 2 long touchdowns, one against A&M, one against Michigan in the bowl game, the Cheez-It Bowl. So I just think
the Cheez-It Bowl. I know it is, but it's funny.
Yeah, when there were so many Cheez-It boxes of Cheez-Its all over that press box. I was like, they really love their brand, and I'm not mad at them, but
I love Cheez-Its.
I think you're only as good as your quarterback. Cam Coleman was a big ad. Hollywood Smothers, running back, is a big ad. They still need help up front. You're only as good as your offensive line. They brought in a couple of guys. I think they're going to add 1 or 2 more before the camp starts, because they need to figure out how to protect Arch Manning, because if Arch Manning goes down, they're in big trouble. And you can say that about
almost every team.
If Marcel Reed goes down, there's trouble in College Station. So got to protect your number 1 asset, and that starts up front.
You know, it's interesting. I think if you have the wide receiver, if you've had those 2 first-round picks and a wide receiver quarterback, and I do mean first-round picks, not NFL picks, you almost can survive the O-line. You can do some kind of functionality with it. Smothers is dependent on the O-line. His value will 100% be dependent on the line. A running back can't overcome a bad to mediocre O-line. But a quarterback wide receiver that will never maximize their value, but they can still make some plays outside their O-line. Running back's dead on arrival if you don't have the O-line.
Yeah, especially if the quarterback can move. And Arch has pretty good feet, and he can run. He's fast. And you know, he's a first-round pick. If he had come out this year, he would have been a first-round pick. I mean,
bizarrely true.
That big arm, those legs, that pedigree. People were salivating over him this year. He was never going to leave. And you know, his grandfather may have let the cat out of the bag when he told the reporter, "Oh, Arch is not leaving early." And Arch was like, "I don't know where he said that. I haven't made a decision." And Arch. But I think it's just that Arch wants to be in control of his own announcements and what have you. But when old Archie Manning says that grandson is staying in college, grandson is staying in college, and Arch Manning is back for another year.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the Cam Coleman, that was the secret. That was, for me, the kind of, I'm buying into this storyline now. And I understand. And here's the thing. It's an offensive line question mark. You don't sit there and go, they're going to suck. They're bad. You don't know what they're going to be. And there's a difference, actually.
Yeah, you look at it, it's the interior that they gotta find 2 guards, that are going to replace Cole Hudson and DJ Campbell. The 2 tackles are back, Lou. Trevor Gooseby is back, and Brandon Baker is back. So they're okay at tackle. And Connor Robertson is back at center. It's the 2 interior guards. And in the SEC, if your guards are overmatched, you can get beat. You can get beat because the defensive tackles in this league are as good as any league in America. And those are tough sledding. That's tough sledding if you get overmatched on the interior in that A-gap. So I believe that they're going to add a couple of more bodies. They need to figure out who can do it, who can get them there. I think they're okay in the protection department, but they're going to have to run the football, and you got to have good guards to run the ball in this league.
So we don't have our first over-unders, official, DraftKings, FanDuel, Vegas, anything yet. If I set it at 9.5 for the Longhorns, which way would you bet it?
Got to go over.
So you got them in the college football playoff because 10's in. 10 would be in.
Absolutely. Yeah, they get Ohio State at the house this time around, and they got some tough. I think they go to Knoxville, they go to Baton Rouge, and then to College Station. So that's not going to be easy for them, but they have a talented team. They get 7 games, I believe, at the house, and that's going to help. And so, and they got a premier quarterback. They have a premier quarterback. Defense, Will Muschamp comes in as the new defensive coordinator, no stranger to Texas, has been a head coach at 2 different programs in the SEC, or 3. Was he the head coach at Auburn?
No, not that I.
Florida and South
Carolina.
No,
yeah.
Florida and South Carolina. So he's no stranger to the SEC. That's an upgrade over Pete Kwiatkowski, who did a really good job. But Muschamp knows these SEC streets. Sarkisian will be able to just concentrate on the offensive side of the ball, and that's going to bode well for Arch, and that's going to bode well for the offense. Because Stark won't have to spread himself. I don't know that he completely trusted Pete Kwiatkowski, judged by what he said.
Yeah.
After they brought in Muschamp, so things are looking up. The reports they brought in Mark Stoops to be an analyst. That's a head coach that's going to be an analyst.
I think that was brilliant, by the way, Cedric. It's little moves like
smart.
that are so brilliant.
Yeah, because you got guys that have been in that league for a long time, much longer than Sark as a head coach, and so you look at bringing in that kind of guy, and they don't really ask for a whole lot of money because they're getting that good buyout money after getting fired. So yeah, that is a brilliant move, and Mark Stoops is a great defensive coach as well. So that's very smart of Sark to bring him in.
So, Cedric, one last question for you on a Thursday. Thank you so much always for hanging out with me, man. It's just fun talking ball, don't matter which ball. A&M over under 9.5. Have you got a number yet? Too early?
Ask me next week. I haven't looked at their schedule, but I will put my head in the schedule and give you an answer. That's 9.5 is such a good number for both of those teams. I like Texas's upside, but I need to look at A&M's schedule to determine if another 10-win season is in the offing for them.
I will tell you something. I think both teams have the same wild card team, and it's LSU, because Lane Kiffin is a freaking genius. I think you got the best quarterback in the portal in Sam Levitt. I know that's not what the ranking said. Don't care. And they turned over like 40 plus. We don't know what they are. If LSU goes 10 wins, they might be stealing for one or not both. I think A&M and Texas had the same wild card team.
Does A&M go to Baton Rouge, or do they?
Yes, they do. First month, it is their. Wow. A&M has this schedule that's fascinating, where the last game of each month is the most important game of the month, because the last game of September at Baton Rouge, the last game of October at Tuscaloosa, the last game of November hosting Texas. It's fascinating schedule. That's
crazy. That is crazy. I'm going to have to write that, Lou. That's good. That's good stuff.
You know what? And you don't even have to credit me. All you have to do is when we hang out and talk, don't make me look dumb, since you're the sports writer of the year. You're good at this.
You got it, man. I love it.
Be awesome, brother. I'll check in with you next week. Thank you always, man.
Take care, Lou.
Later. Cedric Golden of the Austin American Statesman hangs out with us on the D4 Land Services hotline. If you ever need like forestry mulching, pond construction, maybe a metal building, go check out d4landservices.com. They do more, and you can find out that more at d4landservices.com. I will be right back. We have reached halftime here on the Louie Bellina Show, presented always by CC Electric, Thursday on The Zone.
Blending Southern culture with college football.
You guys are awesome.
Music, sport commentary, and more. It's Marty and McGee. Saturday mornings from 6 to 9 on The Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
The Louie Bellina Show. Halftime, 12:38. going till 2 o'clock. Up next, Rusty Burson. That'll be 1 o'clock straight up. Aggie historian and author coming up. I'd like to do a text message sweep. So if there's something you want to say, questions, comments, opinions, Aggie hoops, Aggie baseball, Aggie football, wine, whiskey, beer, TV, movie, streaming. If there's something on your mind, I'm not going to say it now or forever hold your peace, but say it. 979-693-1150. Text. You can text questions for Rusty too. 979-693-1150. This is the Louie Bellino Show presented by CC Electric. College football, the notebook. I saw this and thought to myself, what has taken so long? I understand part of, but there was an announcement that Arkansas and Tyson Foods have struck a major jersey patch deal. And it is a major jersey patches is just now a thing. And I am stunned that like Tyson Foods didn't just start their own collective and call it the Tyson Foods Collective. Like you didn't need the Suey Pig or the Razorback Collective. Like there are some, you got what, Walmart money, Tyson Food money. And between the two of them, why is Arkansas not Oregon? Oregon has Nike money. I understand Arkansas basketball has always been supported at an elite level, but Arkansas, to me, in between, well, if we want to say Jerry Jones money too. So you got Jerry Jones money, Walmart money, Tyson Foods money. They should be whatever they want to be. They could be Texas Tech now because Arkansas is not even what Texas Tech is becoming. So Arkansas and Tyson Foods have struck a major jersey patch deal. Here's one of the kickers that sends 90% of the money to the players. Well, okay. And here's how it works. It's a 5-year partnership, and they're going to place the company logo on the jerseys of every single Arkansas team. Every single team. The branding is only part of the story. 90% of the money, right about, generated by the deal is supposed to go directly to the Arkansas athletes through NIL opportunities with the team. And this is supposed to benefit every single student athlete because it's every single deal. The speculation is it's a 9-figure agreement. More than $100 million. Okay, it's not the min end. If I'm Tyson Foods, like I said, I could have done like Oregon. You know, they could have just bought, if you want to give money to the athletic department, you buy the naming rights and pay them $1 billion a year. You can do whatever you want financially, legally too, or Walmart or any of them. So this is brilliant. I can't wait to see a 9-figure deal. Oh, and it's not just $100 million. And it's every single sport. Again, in my head, I'm like stunned that, again, Tyson, Walmart, Jerry, Arkansas could be anything they want to be. But billionaires aren't billionaires because they just throw their money over a cliff. And what is it? Campbell? Why is his first name escaping me? The Texas Tech billionaire. I think he's doing this as a challenge, and it's personal, and it's the ultimate play toy for him, as opposed to buying a yacht and sailing the planet. That's what Texas Tech is. Cody Campbell. There we go. Finally creeped into my head. College football notebook. Did you know that college football is coming to London's Wembley Stadium for the next 3 years? The NFL's been doing this for a while, but college football is going to be at Wembley Stadium, UK, their largest stadium, for the next 3 years. On September 19th, Arizona State and Kansas, Sun Devils and Jayhawks, yes, Big 12 conference game, is going to be played in England. It is the first college game to be played in England since 1988. The 3 games are going to be called the Union Jack Classic. The Union Jack Classic. Kansas will be the home team. Now, they're going to announce the sponsorship, the TV broadcast rights, all still to come, doesn't matter. And it's going to be week 3 of the college football season. I'm used to college football does overseas. You've had the Ireland game for some time now. It's always week 1, week 0, right? So that you do it leading into before the season, week 1. Then you're off the next week. You recover. Doesn't have the greatest impact on the season. So the Union Jack Classic, at least this first game this year, is week 3. Now, Union Jack Classic is the name of a private company that's bringing college football to England. They hope to host college football games in other European markets. They really just want to follow the NFL model. They want to do Germany. They want to do Europe. And the Union Jack Classic co-founder and COO Thomas Hensley says they're opening ASU London in the fall of 2026. They're not saying they're going to. So this is a part of marketing. This isn't just something random. In advance of Arizona State London campus opening in fall of 2026, Arizona State football will play in Wembley. So there's a tie-in, and it's a 3-year tie-in into the actual Arizona State campus in London opening. So European football, catch the fever, the Union Jack Classic. College football, notebook, big commitment. 5-star linebacker Cooper Witten has committed to Oklahoma. That last name is familiar. Yes, son of former NFL star Jason Witten. Hey, wait a minute. Jason Witten is the son. Jason Witten is currently the Oklahoma tight ends coach? Yes. He is in his first year as the Oklahoma tight ends coach. And this isn't just, I said he's a 5-star. He's the number 25 player in the country, number 2 linebacker in the country. So if you're OU, you got a tight ends coach and you got the number 2 linebacker in the country with 1 paycheck. That's pretty good. It's 2 paychecks. You think they're going to get a discount just because dad's the tight ends coach? Probably had to overpay both, but modern football, when money can solve problems, modern football, and I'm okay for it. College football notebook. I saw this in a mailbag, and I don't know if it was the Athletic. I don't know if it was Athlon. It all starts to blur, but in a mailbag, someone asked about Alabama just no longer dominating. Alabama no longer being a dynasty, but Alabama also, they still get tons of ink, airtime. They do still eat up room. But who remembers when Nick Saban ruled the world and Alabama ate up all the ink, all the airtime, all the oxygen? There really wasn't room for anything else. Very little anyway. And really, for me, I don't know about you, I think it's a nice break when we get a break from the Alabama dynasty. And I say we, because we're SEC country. We live in an SEC universe. And when Nick Saban ruled the world, there was no room for us. If we were in another conference, at least in our conference footprint and stuff, there would be room, oxygen, ink, and airtime. But being in SEC with Nick Saban still, it was rough. You would have to do something dramatic like beat him, or ESPN College Game Day is coming to your campus. Why are they coming to your campus? Because you're hosting Alabama. And then you get your fair shake. You get your coverage and then fade back to Bolivia because they're going to wherever Alabama's going next. So I think it's good. I think it's nice that we're in between Alabama dynasties, don't you? I don't think it's weird, unnatural, or sad or tragic, and I don't miss it at all, to be fair. It's in my college football fandom. As a media person, no, I don't find myself suffering because, oh no, I can't talk about Alabama's greatness. Oh no, there isn't as much Alabama. There's other teams, there's other things in the college football universe that are equally enjoyable for me. I'm okay. I'm not sad. So, yeah, I'm not missing. And I'm not hating. I admired Nick Saban's greatness. The number one thing I always reference, he showed he was the greatest coach of all time. When what made him the greatest already was changing, evolving, almost, I want to use the word done. So he just changed too. How many coaches can change at all, let alone the elitist of the elitist? And he did it on a dime. He saw it as it was happening and then became the greatest at that too. That's Nick Saban. A timeout and a return. The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, community. The Louie Bellina Show, Thursday on The Zone.
Can't reach your radio? Listen to Aggie Baseball online at radioaggieland.com.
The Louie Bellina Show. We're about 8 minutes. Lou bad with math, 7 minutes change. Look, 1 o'clock, Rusty Burson, Aggie historian and author on the D4 Land Services Hotline. Still to come tonight, 7 o'clock, programming service announcement. 7 o'clock, Aggie Diamond Hour. A&M baseball head coach Michael Early, 7 to 8 o'clock, Aggie Diamond Hour here on The Zone, 1150 AM, 93.7 FM. You can listen on the Zone app. You can listen at radioaggieland.com, and you can tell Alexa, play Zone 1150. I tell you what I want to do. Lifestyles portion of the Louie Bellina Show. Lifestyles portion of the Louie Bellina Show. Twisted Sister. They scrapped plans for a 50th anniversary tour. Dee Snider retired, health issues. But all of a sudden, Twisted Sister is going to play several dates in 2026. Yes. I mentioned Dee Snider. I'm talking about that Twisted Sister. We're not going to take it. No, we're not going to take it. No, we're not going to take it anymore. Da-da, 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 da-da. Twisted Sister is now no 50th anniversary tour. They're going to play several dates with Sebastian Bach as the lead singer of Twisted Sister. Yes, former Skid Row screamer. That's what I saw. It made me laugh. Sebastian Bach. They posted a video featuring Bach singing it was a 1983 Twisted Sister song, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. Dee Snider hasn't commented, but he did post the announcement of this event, of the dates in 2026 with Twisted Sister. So if he reposted, he can only be so objectionable. And again, Dee announced his retirement due to health about three and a half weeks ago. And Bach posted on that about, we love you, dude. Thank you for the inspiration. So Twisted Sister will be doing some dates with Sebastian Bach as the lead singer. I'm going to laugh at you on this next one from the lifestyles portion. There was, ultimateclassicrock.com. Ultimateclassicrock.com. They did a list of the top 10 worst lyrics in classic rock. Worst lyrics in classic rock. I don't agree with all in the top 10, but some of them were so funny. Like Journey's Don't Stop Believin'. Just a city boy born and raised in South Detroit. South Detroit doesn't exist. Some of these are just trippy acid bass, which went like Roundabout from Yes. Mountains come out of the sky and they stand there. I don't think it's a worse lyric. I think it's just a whoa. Pinball Wizard The Who, he plays by sense of smell. It's just trippy, man. It's just rock. I don't think it's a worse lyric. They put Billy Joel's from We Didn't Start the Fire. Rock and Roller Cola Wars, I Can't Take It Anymore. Foreigner Dirty White Boy, I'm a loner, but I'm never alone. Come on. That's just... Now, Sleeping Bag ZZ Top is one of the worst lyrics ever in classic rock. Let's go out to Egypt because it's in the plan. We'll whip out our mattresses because there ain't no beds is awful. No denying, no trippy, no rock and roll. It's just bad. It's just a really fun list at ultimateclassicrock.com, the 10 worst lyrics. And sometimes rock and roll is not supposed to make sense. It's just some people that got together in not the best state of mind, and that's okay too.